Uh, we start the session, sir. Please, I would like to request Dr. A.K. Anderson to deliver the today's session lecture for the participants.
So I think it is visible. Screen is visible.
Yes, sir. Screen is visible. Your presentation is shown.
Thank you. First of all, I am thankful to the organizers for providing me this opportunity to interact with the participants of this short course on this bamboo. Uh,
Uh, Excuse me, sir. Can we make it a full screen, sir? So it will be
yeah,
more
yeah,
good.
yeah. So I think this short course is now it is full screen. I think.
Yes, sir. Not
Yeah.
full screen.
So this course, bamboo course, I think it has started few days back, and the participants must have been interacted with a number of learned persons on the this bamboo, like Dr. Ajay Thakur, Dr. Bharti. So they must be now very aware of how the bamboo can be utilized in agroforestry or other these aspects. But I will try to cover about the introduction about the bamboo utilization, different bamboo species, their economics, and how they can be uh, in agroforestry, what are their use, what are the different bamboo species, different agroforestry systems, and little bit about, I'll also cover about the bamboo mission and the species we are being promoting under the bamboo mission. So just a few lines about our institute. Our institute, Central Agroforestry Research Institute, Jhansi, it comes under the Natural Resource Management division of ICR. As you know, there are a number of divisions in ICR like crop division, horticulture. So one of the division is Natural Resource Management. And our institute is a part of this institute and working on the agroforestry aspects, developing the different agroforestry systems, important species, and then contributing also towards the capacity building and the policies issues on the agroforestry. It's a very small institute established in 1988 as National Research Center, which was later on upgraded as Central Agroforestry Research Institute in 2014. We are currently about 20 scientists. We are working here with a sanction strength of 31. The agroforestry, as you know, it is a multidisciplinary approach. So our institute has one or two scientists of all the disciplines like agroforestry, agronomy, physiology, economics, computer science, everyone is there. So in addition to this, our biggest advantage of our institute is that we are also as a headquarter of this All India Coordinated Research Project on Agroforestry. It was started much before the establishment of our institute. It was established in 1983. Earlier, its headquarter was at ICR Delhi. And then in 1996, the headquarter was shifted to our institute. This network is having 37 centers across the country with centers in Himalayan region, Indo-Gangetic, humid, subhumid, arid and semi-arid and tropical region. So in the nutshell, we can say that we are covering all the agroclimatic zones of the country and developing the suitable agroforestry systems, identifying the important tree species, which can be collaborated with the tree and crop combinations to increase the productivity, meet our these environmental challenges now, which are very important, and to identify the suitable land use systems by taking woody perennials in the main focus. Just a few words about what is agroforestry. Agroforestry, as you know that it is a combination of tree and crop. The main problem was that there is no taker of agroforestry initially because agriculture ministry also and Ministry of Environment and Forest, then Ministry of Rural Development, so many ministries were involved in this. But agroforestry is mainly a combination of woody perennials with the crop or livestock. The biggest advantage is here you can say the better and efficient use of the natural resources. If we are taking only one crop in a particular time, then we are using only the limited natural resources. But when we integrate two components, we are using the multiple layers of the resources in the same piece of land from right from the underground surfaces to surface and then the mid canopy and bigger canopy. This is a sketchy diagram showing the agroforestry, and this is the actual field diagrams where we are integrating different components in the same piece of land and they integrate with each other. So when we take agroforestry as a main land use system, the major thing we have to consider whether we use bamboos or any tree crops or livestock and silvipasture or the horticulture trees, whatever we take in the agroforestry. The important thing is there are four major things to learn in take care into the agroforestry. These are the 4 I's. First is intentional, because we are intentionally integrating, intentionally mixing these two components on the same piece of land. Then it is integrated, because these two things are to be taken into the integrated way, cannot be taken separately. Then interactive, because these two things, when there are more than one component on the same piece of land, they interact with each other. So it can be, this interaction may be positive or negative. So we have to select our tree and crop combination in such a way that these interactions are positive, which does not result into the competition between the tree and the crop. So we have to, proper selection of the tree species should be there. And we can manage this competition with the canopy management. In agroforestry, we have found that the maximum competition between the tree and crop is for the light. Otherwise, there is competition for light, moisture, and nutrient. But the major competition is for the light. If we can manage this canopy of the trees, this tree canopy can be managed through this lopping, pruning, and other operations, then we can reduce the competition up to the 70% between tree and crop. And once we manage this canopy of the tree, then and reduce the competition, the productivity will definitely increase, because the tree provide the better resource utilizations, nutrient buildup through this litter fall and other things into the soil, which enriches the soil, the nutrients coming up from the deeper layer of the soil with the help of deep roots. So it provide the shade and other things to the crop. Moisture conservation is there. So only thing is we have to manage the canopy of the tree. Then we can increase the productivity of any agroforestry system. And the another thing is the distance between the spacing and geometry of the trees. If we closer spacing of the row to row, then it will increase the competition. So for the bigger trees or like bamboos, the row to row spacing has to be increased so that we can have better operations like tractors and other operations can also be done, and increases the light availability for the intercrops also. So spacing and geometry is another important aspect in addition to the canopy management in agroforestry. Then coming to the bamboo sector, this is bamboo, as we know, you must have now covered into the other in previous presentations that there are so many species, more than about 1500 species of bamboo is there, which covered into the more than 150 genres. And then India has the second highest number of bamboo species in the world. The maximum number is in the China. Then about 1500 documented uses of bamboos are there. So many uses of bamboos are there, whether it is through for the nowadays even the wood is being produced, the composite woods through the bamboo is converted into the wood also, machines are available. Then so many products like furniture, construction. So about more than 1500 uses of bamboo have been documented and in India, and more than 10,000 uses have been documented by the INBAR. So the global attention is for the, it can be as a crop which can be grown along with the horticulture trees, silviculture trees, and crops for the multiple use and benefits. So bamboo is nowadays in a very limelight. Earlier it was only treated as a poor man timber, but now the situation has improved. Earlier, which was called as poor man timber, now it is being looked upon as a green gold, because due to its number of uses and nowadays use into the ethanol and so many new gasifiers and others have come. So now it is being considered as a green gold and not only as a poor man timber. Here you can see the number of uses, just that how it can be used into the earlier different aspects. Now, how it has been converted from poor man timber to the green gold, because the latest uses, as I told, that first of most important thing is renewable energy resources. Bamboo, due to its high calorific value, more than 4000 kilocalories per kg, and very low ash content, it is considered as it is a major source for the renewable energy sources through gasifiers, ethanol, and power generation. As I told that high calorific value is there. It is a main source of biomass. As everyone knows that bamboo is the one of the fastest growing species. It grows very fast on a daily basis also. So it is a higher biomass productivity is there. So it can be used in the gasifiers, and through this biomass electricity is being produced. And another use for renewable sources is ethanol manufacturing. Nowadays, a number of these industries have come up which converts directly bamboo into the ethanol. In the Northeast and also in Maharashtra, some these industries have come up. So another use for energy is conversion into the charcoal or briquettes. Even the smallest parts of the which are waste material from the bamboo or other things then can be converted into the briquettes and or the charcoals, and which provide the very valuable and very efficient fuels. So these byproducts of after converting into the different uses, these byproducts or wastage can also be converted into the source of energy. So the major source of bamboo nowadays, major focus is on renewable energy resource for uses into the fuel, power generation, ethanol, and the charcoal. It has increased the value of bamboo very much. Another important use nowadays, as I told, that it can be converted into the wood also, and various, you can see these construction materials, versatile building material. Even now the CPWD, which was earlier not using the wood and the other things for the construction material, only the iron and cement they are using. Now again they have removed the ban on this and using the wood and the wood products in the building materials. So after this notification by CPWD for using wood and wire products into the building materials, the value has increased, and bamboo has a number of uses for the building material due to its high tensile strength. It is very the material is very bamboo material, very strength, and the strength is equal to the steel when it is converted into these materials. And it is very light and flexible, wood-like exterior finish. You can see the very good flooring and other things can be done, and it can be a good replacement for the timber, because timber species are very taking time much for the production and growth is slow. Bamboo can be grown very easily in a faster manner, so it can easily replace the timber. So another important use nowadays is versatile building material, number of even for the buildings, floor, these cottage industries and furniture. Then most important thing is the environment friendly. It increases the about 33% more carbon dioxide compared to the hardwood, because in hardwoods, most of the things can go into the leaf and other things. But in bamboo, due to its number of culms are present, high growth is there. So same piece of land where bamboo and other hardwoods are growing, it absorbs 33% carbon dioxide compared to other hardwood tree species. So it is a major source of the carbon sink. More oxygen, it releases more oxygen compared to the trees. It is estimated that it release about 35% more oxygen compared to the trees. Then it prevents the soil erosion, because bamboo, wherever we are growing bamboo, particularly along the river beds or canals, or like in the these farm boundaries, or where water harvesting structures are there, due to number of culms are growing, due to its root structure is such a intermingled between these culms, so it prevents the soil erosion up to the great extent. So due to its particular root system, this very complicated root system is there, complex root system, so it prevents the soil erosion better compared to the our hardwood and other tree species. And it is an effective tool against the climate change. So it is very eco-friendly or environment friendly bamboo compared to our other traditional timber species or tree species. How it is bamboo can be considered as a carbon sink, because the biomass and carbon assimilation is 7 to 30% compared to other fast growing. Even the fast growing tree species like poplar, eucalyptus, which mature within 4 to 5 years, the bamboos, even compared to them, it is about 10 to 20% store more carbon compared to poplar and eucalyptus also. Because the these bamboo products which are harvested, they are converted into the wood or wood products. So the carbon is stored for the lifetime in this. So it is a more efficient for the carbon storage. Increment biomass is between 5 to 10 ton carbon per hectare per year, which is very fast higher compared to the other tree species. Bamboo forest system is it is considered a sink only because they consider, as I told, that it is converted either into the furniture or the construction material. So it can store the carbon for a considerable length of the time. Until recently, most of the bamboo species were used for the low value or short-lived products. As I told earlier, initially the bamboo was used for the pulp and paper and other things. Most of our paper industries are using bamboo only. But that product, paper, is not for the very long life. So that again goes, that carbon stored through that is again wasted. But now its use is increasing into the long life products and the wood and wood materials. Therefore, the value for as a carbon sink has increased. And to achieve the higher level of carbon sequestration, we have to give for the proper management. Regular harvesting systems should be very regular, and proper utilization for the durable product is a important factor. If we keep all these things into the mind, then carbon is one of the most important source for the carbon sink bamboos. Then the major potential of bamboo in agroforestry, as I told that bamboo is an important species for the agroforestry. In later on my presentation, I'll show you the different bamboo species, their uses, and how they are integrated with the different crops and other things in the agroforestry for their use. But the potential for bamboo in agroforestry is, first is food. The edible, we know that bamboo shoots are edible, particularly in the northeastern and other parts. Species like Dendrocalyptus asper and Bambusa tulda, they are being used as a bamboo shoots for the edible purposes also. So it provides the food, fodder also. Bamboo leaf is a very good fodder for the livestock, particularly Bambusa belcova, Brandisi and tulda. So food, fodder, then economic benefits. I told it is very important for the construction material, value-added secondary material, as it is a raw material for pulp and paper, ethanol production and biochar. So these are the economic benefits. Then ecological benefits. Already we have seen that for the soil erosion, soil moisture retention, litter decomposition. There is a lot of litter is produced in the bamboo, which help into the soil nutrient returning nutrients to the soil. Then it is very useful for the climate change, adaptability to the change, and carbon sequestration. And moreover, socioculture. Bamboo is being used in our various religious functions, and it has a lot of medicinal value and in the handicrafts also. So for these reasons, it is very important from the agroforestry point of view. One of the most important thing is bamboo. When we grow bamboo is the maturity marking system, because in the culm, it is, if we don't take consider the properly that what are the 1-year-old culms, second year, third year, because every year new culms are coming. If we don't take care of properly for the year-wise culms, then it is very difficult to manage the bamboos, and their harvesting is very difficult. So yearly we have to use the different color for, say we are using this pink color for the first year, yellow for whatever color you can decide it for the 1 year. Each year culms, different color has to be used, so that we can decide which culms are to be harvested. So it is very important in the bamboos to mark them properly in each culms based on their age of the culm. This we have shown that the bamboo maturity marking system in Dendrocalyptus asper and angustifolia in southern parts of the country from the Kodagu. In the farmer's field, you can see that they are managing all the culms. Otherwise, in this big culm, it is very difficult to harvest them and to know that which culm is of which age and which comes to the maturity. So if it is properly marked, we can know that this culm was 4-year, 5-year-old was old. So when it comes to maturity, we have to harvest them only. So in the agroforestry or other, whenever we are using the bamboo in the plantation, it is one of the most important thing in any bamboo management system. This is we have shown this slide shows that how to decongest or the harvest the clumps from congested clumps, because particularly in those bamboos which are thorny in nature like Dendrocasma strictus and other, if we don't properly harvest the bamboos, then culms are not harvested, then they will intermingle with each other and very difficult. So there are two ways, either horseshoe system of harvesting. Older culms are in the center, they need to be harvested first. Like this, we can in the shape of the horseshoe, we will make this system and harvest from this side, and then new culms are coming outside. So easily it can be managed. In this way, the older culms are harvested first and new culms are coming outside. So in this horseshoe shape, we have to harvest. Or another is this tunnel type, tunnel system of harvesting, in which also from all the four sides, we can cross shape clearing path can be created in this this cross manner, and then from this each crosses we can we clear the culms from the center part with this cross. And here the older culms are there, which are to be harvested first, and then in these four outside, the new culms are coming. So we can mark them based on their age and harvest accordingly. So in this way, there is no congestion of the culms, and it can be easily managed and productivity. If we don't manage it properly, one thing is the harvesting and another the productivity also, because the new, if don't harvest it in this way, the new culms germination will also be affected and their growth will also be less. So in this way, each culm is getting sufficient this space and for nutrients for growth, and space also for the germination or the coming up of the new culms. Once we harvest from here, the new culms will come here. So in these two ways, we can manage our culms. This, you can say that this is the managed one. Here you can say that lot of gap is there, because easily we are from the center, the old one have been removed and the new culms are coming outside. So in this way, there are not, each culm is separate and you can easily harvest, and sufficient space is there for the emergence of the new culms. But in this, it is unmanaged one. So it is now very difficult to harvest them. So for any farmer who is adopting the agroforestry, bamboo-based agroforestry, or planting it into the block plantations, this should be the way to manage the bamboo. So many times we say that a farmer has adopted the bamboo-based plantation, but he's not getting the actual returns what he was expecting. It is only due to this unmanaged culms. Here, number of culms, initially he has not taken care. Now it is very difficult. Either he has to remove all the culms in one go, and it will fetch very less price, because some of them will be very younger, 1 or 2 year old only, and some are very old, which are difficult, may not be of any use also. In this such type of consideration. So this is the main way in any bamboo-based plantations. Another thing for bamboo's plantation is fertilization and management and spacing. Like any other tree species or agriculture crops, bamboo also need fertilizer and irrigation also. So the main way is to make a circle outside the culm and provide the fertilizer or irrigation in this circle outside the culm. From here, the bamboo roots for all the culms will get the fertilizer and the irrigation. So this is the right way for either you can use organic fertilizers like FIM and other things, or inorganic fertilizer also, but it should be done in this way only. And this is the way of the plantations. You can see that in each bamboo culm, this type of the circle has to be prepared, where we can provide the irrigation and fertilizer. And here you can see the spacing also. The wider the spacing between row to row, it should be more compared to the plant to plant within a row. So this will give the more productivity, and you can go for the intercultivation also. So this is the main method of fertilization and management and spacing of the bamboo species. So whenever you are giving some things to the farmers, telling them to adopt, you tell them that row to row spacing should be more. It will not affect the overall productivity. It will give the more productivity if row to row spacing is more, because interspace can be used for the crops and other things also. Here you can see spacing and intercultivation. If it is 5 by 5 spacing, initially you can grow some crops, and initially tractor operations can also be done. But once these more cows will come, the tractor cultivation and shade will be more, so the productivity will be less. So here we have shown the 9 by 9 spacing. So in case of bamboos, most of the bamboo species, minimum 8 to 8 spacing is better compared to this small, closer spacing of 5 by 5. It is useful only for the initial 3-4 years, but for the longer duration, the better higher spacing is required. Here you can see that the wide row intercropping in agroforestry. Here you can see that as the bamboo crop with different crops in laterite humid, if the spacing is more, then the even up to the 4th year we can get the intercrops, and the number of culms are also more at the wider spacing. You can see as the spacing has also increased, the number of culms and the crop productivity has also increased. Then bamboos has a more use in the homestead agroforestry system. Home gardens or other things are very common in the coastal areas or in northeastern part and the Kerala. And there also so many bamboo species are used, like examples we have given Bambusa tulda in homestead growing in the Arunachal Pradesh. Here every household are having bamboo in their home gardens. Similarly in Maharashtra, also Konkan region, Dendrocalamus toxai, it is growing in along the paddy fields and others there. So these are the very important part. Bamboo is important part of any home gardens or homestead in our country, whether it is the Kerala home garden or northeastern part or Odisha or these coastal regions. And bamboo has another use, particularly in the block plantations in agroforestry also. If we are not to go for the intercultivation, we can group them also block plantation also. So these are some examples of block plantations. Bambusa balcova in Karnataka, here you can see, and a commercial plantation of bamboo, this Dendrocalamus toxai in farmer field in Maharashtra. Here they are not going for the crop cultivation. So if they are not interested into the intercrops, they can grow for the block plantations also. Here spacing can be reduced and more culms can be produced. So it can grow either in the block plantations or in the intercropping also. Another important utilization of bamboo is for the biofencing also, because nowadays, particularly in areas like our central part of India or many where livestock problem is there, to protect our field of farmers' field from the livestock, they can go for the live fencing of the bamboo. Example is Dendrocalamus toxai has a live fence, and this another from the Sikkim also. You can see either it can be made, this type of fencing can be done with the product of bamboo product for the fencing also. Then in agroforestry, how some slides that it can be used into the different practices in the agroforestry, like farm boundaries, live fence, block plantations, intercropping with finger millet, sweet potato in homestead. So these slides just show that different how bamboo can be used in differently in the agroforestry combinations, either block, intercropping, biofence, or everything. Then industrial uses of prospects of bamboo, as we already told that industrially it is very important. It is used for the construction, furniture, agarbatti sticks, handicrafts, innovative farm implements also, bioenergy, carbon, compost, these things. Now one by one you can see different utilizations, like for construction. Nowadays very important, bamboo mat molded doors are also coming. Number of uses of bamboo in the construction has now come up. Different machines have also now available, and industries there which use bamboo wood into the different parts. These are the only doors made through the bamboo only. It is just comparable, or strength is compared to the other whatever plastic doors or other wooden doors are there. So it can be used for the bamboo mat doors also here, and even for the these sheets, just like farmers are using this, so in house asbestos sheets or steel sheets are there. So bamboo sheets are also available for the rooftops. Then in the handicrafts, species like Bambusa, bamboos, nutans, tulda, they are very effective for in the handicrafts also. Number of products can be made from the this bamboo, these species. Then another use is I showed in the furniture. For furniture also the important species are like Bambusa, bamboos, nutans, tulda, balcova, dendrocalamus, oxeye, strictus, and aspen. These are the species, and here you can see that all type of furniture can be made from the bamboo, just like almiras, beds, chairs, sofa set, everything. So number of uses are there for the bamboo. But now these were the initial. Now even you can see that now even for the interior decoration also, it is just like any wooden interior, very aesthetic, very good value, very you just like see the furniture. No one can differentiate between this bamboo interiors and the from the other wood materials. So you can just see that now the bamboo uses are increased much more and very important nowadays. Then the most important aspect utilization of bamboo is in the agarbatti sector. As we know that in India we are importing agarbatti sticks of thousands of crores from the Vietnam or China. But now even this species like Bambusa, nutans, tulda, and balcova, they can be used for the agarbatti making, and these species are quality planting material is available in our country. So these species needs to be promoted for the agarbatti sector so that we can save the foreign currency also and our industry can survive. So for example, in Karnataka itself, there are 60 agarbatti industries are there, and in Bangalore alone, 1,000 tons of agarbatti sticks are consumed per day. So this is just saying that how much agarbatti consumption is there in our country, and we are importing lot of material from the outside. And main thing was there earlier, the machines for the agarbatti making, they are not suitable for our species, but now machines are available and these species can be utilized. And 1 column of Bambusa balcova can yield up to 7 kg sticks of the agarbatti sticks. So from 1 column we can yield up to rupees 5-6 of about 550 from one column exactly. So in this way, if we promote these species into the farmer field, it will not only provide the returns to the farmer, it will also help our industry as well as saving the foreign exchange. As I told, another use was in the bioenergy and gasification. So in this bioenergy and gasification, we say that directly these species can be used through gasification units for the generator electricity. The investment in this gasifier is a very huge investment is required for this machine. It is about 4 crores, but they use wood and bamboo as a disc for the gasifiers. And this gasification byproduct, biochar, can also be produced from this, the byproduct from this gasifiers. So we can directly produce the electricity by using these bamboo species through gasifiers. Then another important use is ethanol. And another countries, they are directly using the edible oils like maize and other things are produced. But now the technology is available where this directly bamboo biomass can be converted into the ethanol. And now even as I told that in Maharashtra and Northeast, the industries are coming up which will utilize bamboos directly for the and convert bamboos into the ethanol. So it is one of the most important use nowadays. Then, as I told that for the edible purposes, bamboo shoots, particularly in the northeastern part, it is very common seen that where bamboo shoots, they are selling the bamboo shoots for the edible purposes. About 26 to 42 tons of bamboo shoots are respectively harvested annually in the northeastern part of the country. And this is harvested mainly from because most of in these regions, 65% of the bamboo is harvested for non-commercial purposes. But the need is that now we have to make the value addition from these products so that it can increase its economic return also, and it can be used for the commercial purposes and for the export purposes also. So lot of potential is there in the converting this non-commercial purpose into the commercial purposes just by the value addition in these things. So because the bamboo shoots are very rich in the potassium and these antioxidants like selenium, and these are the low sugar and best for the sugar restricted diets. So these are very edible bamboo shoots have lot of scope is there. Then bamboo polymer, it is can also be used for the practical application. This for that I told that directly converted it can be used into the woods, like lignocellulose waste material has through value addition. These are recyclable and environmental friendly. The strength is very superior and compared to the plastic material. Where we are using the plastic materials, we can use this bamboo material by converting into these applications through bamboo. Then thermal modification of wood. Now bamboo, as I told, that bamboo can directly convert it into the wood also through this thermal modification. So it is very useful for the outdoor structures also. It will not be affected by the this rain and other high temperature and other things. So these structures can be used for the roofing and other sporting structures also. During the last Kumbh Mela in a few years back in Allahabad, even the railway station, this Prayagraj railway station and others, a lot of bamboo construction was used in the railway platforms and other for their roofing and other things. So now the knowledge and technology is available. Only thing is like institutes like Institute of Wood Science and Technology, they have developed the techniques for converting the bamboo into the boards, bamboo utensils and other things also. So these are even for the some equipments can be used, like the bamboo made cycle. Instead of this steel and iron, this frame is made of the bamboo, cycle frame made from the bamboo. So a lot of uses are there. These species like Brandisi, Toxai and Strictus, they can be converted. Even the vegetable cutting boards and others, they can be made from the bamboos. So these are number of products are available which where we can use this bamboo, and that's why nowadays it is called as a green gold. Even this bamboo toothbrushes, cutlery, even the water bottles, these drinking water bottles, they can be they are now being made by the bamboo. So many value additions can be done. Plastic toothbrush can be found in, and they are just a waste and cannot be recycled. So these wooden bamboo based toothbrushes, a lot of export potential is there for these things. Then ecosystem services by bamboos, like watershed services, they are prevent the natural erosion. Widespread root system is there, dense layer, so many litter is there. So they retain the soil and stabilize the slopes, mitigate water pollution. It is a good agent for ecological wastewater treatment. So in addition to this economic uses, these are watershed services also, wastewater treatment using the bamboos. Here you can see that bamboos, if they are planted along the canals and other things, they can treat the water also. Here you can see that just like the biopumping and other things, like this bamboo root system can help into the water treatment also along these canals and other river beds also. So these are now some of the important bamboo species which are having different uses, like Dendrocalamus toxai. It is commonly known as Marihal bamboo. It is medium to mid-sized bamboo. Uses mainly for furniture, handicraft, edible shoots, farm implements, soil conservation, and agarbatti industry. So now just we are covering different bamboo species which are important in Indian context. Another is Bambusa nutan. It is known as, in northeast it is called Jatti. It grows in the altitude between 500 to 1500 meters. Mainly it is for the moist hill slopes. It is used for the one of the important species for agarbatti stick, beside the house construction and edible shoots and crafts and basketry. Another important species is Dendrocalamus giganteus. It is a very giant bamboo. You can see that a very big and number of cones are produced in this. It is a very big main use for this is for furniture, handicraft, and edible shoots. Another important species is Dendrocalamus brandisi. It is also known as Burma bamboo. It is found in the southern part of the country like Coorg and Karnataka. It is in the homesteads, farmers are using it. The main use is for the construction, furniture, farm implements, and edible and agarbatti industry. So just we are showing that what different bamboo species is being promoted in the National Bamboo Mission or available in our country. Bambusa balkova, it is very native of Bangladesh and well grown in the West Bengal and other northeastern part. It is a mid-sized large bamboo species, very high calorific value in this. And it is a good bioenergy and edible and furniture species, Bambusa balkova. It can be grown into the in central part of India also, where some humid conditions are there. So these are some of the bamboo species. Just I have compiled that which species can grow in which region, what is its utility and integration with agroforestry system, that how it can be, whether it can be grown and windbreak or intercropped or like that. So these are the important bamboo species and their uses. Just a summary table of the important these 17, 18 bamboo species are there, how they can be utilized and can be taken in the agroforestry. In addition to this, there are some constraints also for using bamboo in the agroforestry. Main thing is the root competition with the understory crops. That's why we are told that for using bamboo in the agroforestry, to reduce the competition, row to row spacing has to be increased, because there is lack of information on spacing and management of bamboo for the different bamboo species, that which bamboo species has to be grown up to which spacing, how to manage its culms. So these are not, for all species, it has not yet been defined. And important intercropping options, that which species can be grown. For initially few years, we can grow different species, but later on, only the shade-loving crops can be grown. Then very little studies available on the root intensity and root distribution of the bamboos. Then quality planting stock is also very challenging in the bamboo. Particularly, you must have gone through the Dr. Bharti's lecture, he must have done. So he has growing some good quality planting material, and some other good nurseries are also there. But still, for many bamboo species, the quality planting stock is a problem. Then proper package of practice for cultivation and release of the new clones or varieties, and uniform policy for the trade and transit. These are some of the issues which are required in the promoting bamboo in agroforestry. But still, many agroforestry systems are there for the bamboo-based system. Here you can see that farmer is growing along the its field as a boundary plantation only, and still he is getting good amount from the culms after harvesting every year some of the culms from these. These are some of the crops which can be grown, like wheat, mustard, linseed. All these type of crops can be grown with the Dendrocalamus strictus. Here you can see a very good growth of the crops with the bamboo. These are the 20 species being promoted under the National Bamboo Mission in India. Just like an example of this Bambusa balkova growing in our northeastern part. Very high yielding bamboo. Bambusa tulda. Even in Madhya Pradesh also, the Forest Survey of India report, as per bamboo Forest Survey, these are the total bamboo growing area in the Madhya Pradesh is about 13% of the country's bamboos are growing into the Madhya Pradesh region only. So for any bamboo-based agroforestry system, we have to see that wider this row to row spacing compared to the plant to plant, and number of crop can be grown initially. Then after 3 years, only shade-loving crops like turmeric, aloe, ginger can be grown. So these are again some slides with the bamboo. Number of crops, maize, soya bean can be grown. Even then later on, we can also go for the turmeric or onion. Just some different bamboo-based agroforestry models. See. Even on the block plantations with mustard as then bamboo on the field bund. Bamboo can be grown in the degraded lands also, then bamboo plus grasses. Then important, very important in the some parts where water is a problem. So through natural resource conservation, first we can increase the water availability, and then we can go from the plantations, including the bamboo along these water bodies. So in these degraded lands, first we can go for the techniques like staggered and contour trenching or staggered trenches. Then it will increase the water availability And then along these trenches, we can grow for the bamboo plantation or any other tree species. When our institute has worked in the farmer fields through on the watershed basis, we have constructed these check dams and other water harvesting structures, and then promoted the agroforestry, including this. So bamboo promotion is also through this National Agroforestry Policy and National Bamboo Mission. India is the first country to have its own independent agroforestry policy in 2014, and then Bamboo Mission, initially it came in 2006 and 7, and then revised Bamboo Mission has come in the last 3-4 years, and it is being promoted by the different states through these missions. These are the objectives of National Agroforestry Policy and Bamboo Mission, available on the website of DAC and Farm Ministry. The main interventions are that they are giving incentive for the nursery development, these plantations either on the boundary plantation or low density or high density, and then also for the capacity building of the stakeholders and demonstrations also. But for the promotion of whether bamboo based agroforestry or any agroforestry, there is need to take it into the consortia mode. We cannot, research institute or farmers or industry cannot go alone. We have to make a consortia where research institutes can provide the technology and the quality planting material, and wood-based industries, they provide the buyback assurance and some minimum support price to the farmers, and financial institutes are required to provide credit facilities and loans and insurance things, and then only farmers are ready to take this, whether it is bamboo or other any agroforestry tree species. So in this quadrant type of consortia is required, where all the 4 stakeholders have to come together, and then only things can move ahead. So these are some of the books on the different technologies available on our websites. These soft copies are available. It includes the complete package of practices of these species, and this include the technologies. Then also some agroforestry models. These things are available on the soft copy on our institute websites. We have also developed an application mobile app, Farm Tree, which includes the complete package of practice of important agroforestry tree species. We are complete. It is in Hindi and English, available freely on the Google Play Store, currently for the Android system only. Our institute is also having this Indian Society of Agroforestry, where we are promoting this different agroforestry tree species and publishing a journal also of Indian Journal of Agroforestry, which contains information on bamboo as well as other agroforestry tree species, how they can be promoted and integrated. Thanks. This is all about my lecture, please.
Thank you, sir.
Now, any queries or from the participants, they are welcome, please.
Yes, sir. Would like to you have the many any doubt? Please raise. Our speaker is ready to answer you.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I want to ask some questions, sir. Sir?
Are you your
Sir, is my
doubt?
voice audible, sir?
You can also put in your chat box also, so that will arise it. Anyone is? Yes, ma'am. Parul, ma'am.
Sir, I want to know regarding the standard dosage practices for bamboo plantation. Like you said, some fertilizers, organic manure, or FYM we can use. So, what are the standard doses we can apply for bamboo plantation, sir?
Yeah, madam, as I told that these are the some constraints for each species, it will be different. But particularly till now, what we are doing is that it is based on the, particularly for the intercrops, what we are using, that type, just the 20% of that we are using when we are growing bamboo with the intercrops. And particularly for the specific bamboo species, it is yet not standardized. But whatever we are growing as an intercrop, we are giving, it's for say intercrop, it is 120%, 20% extra we are using in that field on the per hectare basis, and that is used in the basals of the bamboo species. And additional it will get from the what we are giving to the intercrop, that will be utilized by the bamboo also.
So much, sir.
Any other participants?
One has requested email address that I have given here in the chat box. Participants, not only for this bamboo and other any agroforestry information, also you from our website, different many publications are available, which give the complete package of practice for the different species where it has to be used, and these a soft copy of all the these publications are available there. Yeah, bamboo can be intercropped with the medicinal plants also. As I told that medicinal plants are more this shade loving plants compared to the other these other crops. So this medicinal plants has a lot of scope with the medicine these bamboo plantations. But only thing is that initially you can grow all type of bamboo plant these medicinal plants like agave and other things also, but later on only the this shade loving one. So I think there is no more questions.
Yes, sir. I think
Yes, sir.
another question. Shall we conclude today's our session, sir?
Yeah, one question has come.
Yes,
There
sir.
is one farmer at Jabalpur, he want to harvest his bamboo plantation. To whom he should contact? I think for bamboo now there is no restriction, but generally what happens that these rules varies from state to state, as in the bamboo policy also, and this national agroforestry policy also. There are states have the right to decide which species are to be removed, but now bamboo has been removed from the classification of trees in the last 2 years, and he can harvest it, but only thing is he has to there is no need for any, I think, harvesting for the bamboo. Any permission is requested, and he can sold it into the local market or any somewhere, but he can harvest without any permission. Bamboo, no need of any permission is required. So I think should we close, sir? There seems to be no question. So
Yes, sir. No more questions, I think.
yeah.
If you afterwards also if question will be there from for you, sir, I will share with you
Yeah, sure.
or via mail also. If any later on any question query will be there, so it will be discussed with me. Uh, Thank you very much, sir, for today's informative and very important lecture for the participation. Because so many comments also are seeing in the chat box, also very informative and nice presentation like that. That's all for today's session. And at 3 p.m. We have another lecture, and link will be shared to the other person also.
So
Uh,
thank you. You
Thank you.
to the organizers and the participants for their interaction. Once again, thanks everyone.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.